people getting ready for all kinds of things want to know the weather this week.
Yeah, and I heard the disturbing fact, was it a 2,000% increase in fire coverage from last year? We had a really quiet year.
They don't get a summer.
This year, here we go again. So let's go ahead and look at the smoke map. And again, Southern Sierra and then up into Northern California, we're really putting out a lot of smoke in those fires. Add that to the Canadian fires and everything in between, Washington, Oregon, Idaho, and it's one of those years again. So it looks like we're real busy there. Lucky for us, though, it looks like a lot of the smoke is staying out of our area. So I guess that's the good news. The upside to that, at least for now, it looks like a lot of it is staying mostly to our north and pushing off to the east. I've heard that they're even going to be able to see it and have effects all the way to the east coast. 60s across the central coast and along the Oxnard Plain. 70s for the south coast and inland areas. 70s and 80s. Cuyama, you're the warm spot at 89 degrees. Everybody else doing really well below that. So just a really lovely afternoon. Last Sunday of July looks like it's going to go out on a very quiet, nice note. All right, 13-mile-an-hour wind in Gaviota. Out of the northwest, we might see those winds become a bit of a problem throughout the week. Some sundowner activity, but it looks like we should stay below advisory levels. Humidity levels, as per the fires, at least for our local issues, are doing really well. We're already pumped up in many areas of the coastal plain, which means a lot of that will work its way into some of the coastal valleys. Across the country, looking really nice. It's been very quiet. We do expect to see the heat dome developing by about the middle and second half of the week. It'll be more toward the west coast. This is out now when I add the heat index, add some humidity, and it isn't exactly great, but it's not really doing that bad. New York and Washington, high 70s to low 80s. They could really feel like a lot worse if you had some warmth there. And it looks like right now they're doing well. Across the country, a lot of storminess for the eastern seaboard, and it looks like maybe the Ohio River Valley. Some flashes right there along the Dakotas, and it looks, I should say, maybe more toward Montana and down into Wyoming. For us, though, it's quiet. The monsoon is very quiet. You have your fog out in the ocean. Things stay very quiet for us, but then we do see some changes coming. Mild through about midweek. Then beyond that, we expect to see more heat by next weekend as high pressure starts to backtrack toward the west coast. That starts to put a lid on the onshore flow, even though we're not expecting it to go away completely. So the beaches should stay really nice. Very lucky there. But by about maybe Friday or Saturday, inland areas will likely start to really warm up. We probably have some heat advisories once we get through the next few days. We start seeing a better indication of what to expect exactly by next week. And wind should stay fairly quiet, but every so often we do get some afternoon puffs of wind, maybe going up above, gusts maybe it's a better word, above 30 miles an hour. So you're getting close to the threshold of seeing maybe a low-end wind advisory. As for the marine layer, looking really nice. Some reduced visibilities, though, for the early morning hours. By the afternoon, a lot of 10s popping up, which means that we do see better clearing. So that means we expect to see some good beach weather, although some coastal clouds may linger as the ocean is still about 55 degrees right about Point Conception. It tries to warm up, but only to about 60, maybe very low 60s, which means that you have a cold ocean. That allows the fog to sort of have a good refuge and kind of linger right near the beaches all day long. As far as temperatures, we'll go ahead with the mild routine. Overnight temperatures into the 50s and very low 60s. Afternoon, 60s along the beaches. Some areas like Morro Bay, very close to 60 degrees for your afternoon high. Inland areas, 80s, a few 90s pop up. It looks like as we go to Tuesday, we might add a few degrees to the thermometer, or at least the readings. So maybe a few more 90s, but still looking really nice and fairly mild, at least through Tuesday, probably more so maybe even Wednesday. And then after that, it looks like we start to warm things up, but hopefully not too bad. And here is the ITCZ. It's your Intertropical Convergence Zone. That is the baby nursery where big storms respond. Your tropical activity for the eastern Pacific is starting to look like it's showing some energy. So right there, that could be Bud. And then beyond that, if you backtrack toward the Mexican Riviera, could see Carlota, and maybe even past that, back towards Central America, could be Daniel. So we always keep an eye on those. They can get a little close and pick up the surf. They can also break apart and get very close. And we know last year, Hillary, we can get some rain out of these things. So we always keep an eye on them. And they're kind of fun to watch. We don't see a whole lot of it, but once in a while, we got to keep an eye on that southwest door for those tropical systems. All right, tomorrow, we do expect to see a beautiful day, 60s and 70s, as you can see right there, along the south coast, up into the central coast. We'll go with 60s and 70s near the beaches, some 80s and 90s inland. Nothing too severe. It looks like it's just a nice day. day, not too hot at all. Ohio will go with an 84. Maybe compare that to a 69 in Port Hueneme. Quick look at the surf. It's small right now, but little boosts out of the southwest and northwest are expected through the week. And a couple of our 7 days real quick, Tracy, and you can see it looks pretty good. Not bad at all. 80s though once we get to the weekend. We go up a bit from there, and it just looks like overall a really nice forecast until next weekend when things do get warm.